What is up, everybody? It's me, at True Star Screamer, and we're going to talk about a figure I have been wanting for quite some time. We are talking about DC Icons Green Arrow. Now, I know this is actually one of the first of the DC Icon figures that came out, and now the line is pretty much coming to an end, which I'll kind of talk about that a little later. But this is one that ever since it came out, I've had my eye on. I do have Harley, and I've also got Mr. Miracle, and I had Flash. So I've had a few of these, and I really like them. But again, I'll get more on this. So of course we've got the box here where we've got Green Arrow, we've got the bow, we've got multiple arrows, various hands. The box I always thought was really cool with the shape that it came in. This is number 3 in the series, and it also came with, again, Mr. Miracle, Deadman, and Batman, who are also up here. So yeah, let's take... One of the things I did like is the icons will actually say who sculpted them. In this case, it was Sam Greenwell, but I always like the fact that I actually gave credit to the guy who put together the figure. Let's get this guy open, though, and take a look. Okay, well, we've got Ollie out of the packaging. I've messed around with him for a little bit, and I can already say I've got a love-hate relationship with this figure. Now, I was lucky. I was able to get this figure from an awesome group I'm in called the Hardcore Collectors, and we had our Secret Santa, and this was my present. And especially knowing what I know now, I'm kind of glad didn't have to pay for this guy. I mean, I'm glad I have him, but this is definitely a mixed bag, or a mixed quiver, per se. Accessories, we do have two pairs of hands for holding things, which I'll be honest, if he just came with these, I wouldn't have minded. Of course, we get his bow. This design here is from the series The Longbow Hunters by Mike Grell. So this is a much more clean version of Green Arrow. And what I mean by that is, one of the big things, no trick arrows, just regular metal-tipped arrows. And with those, we get 2 double arrows and 2 single arrows. And these all fit in his quiver, which is attached to him. Now, the DC Icons, this was their attempt at a Marvel Legends style figure, which in a lot of ways succeeded better than Legends and also failed. I mean, everything here was a unique sculpt. So every figure you got, there were no reused parts, which is cool, but then again, that also kept their cost up high. So they had to resculpt each figure. And unfortunately now, the line is being replaced by the Essentials line. I'm glad I didn't get into this because I'd be feeling some serious regret if I got all into this line. We definitely get the articulation. I mean, we get double jointed knees, double jointed elbows, wrist swivel. The head is on a swivel, but it's trapped in the hood, so the whole hood doesn't move. There isn't a waist, but there's an upper body pit. There's an upper body ball joint here, but the quiver is all attached, so that restricts the movement. Leg can get a decent spread, but the tunic restricts it. So the win is there, but so is the fail, unfortunately. And of course, get the boot cut, ankle tilt, and a little bit of an ankle pivot as well. Hands pop out pretty easy. I like this. If you see here, there's actually a groove in the wrist, which gives that, you can even hear it going in. I mean, these figures were designed really well. It's just, well, we'll get to it. We'll get there in one moment. We'll get to what the other problems lie. The bow here. We actually have a string here. I think that's absolutely awesome. Hawkeye just had the plastic one. I'm semi-tempted to give this to Hawkeye, but, well, again, this figure is just really well done. This hand's a little tight, So I'm trying to get the bow in here real quick. And it's trapped in the fingers. I just don't want to bend these fingers back. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Got that in there. And we saw the arrows came out. We'll pull one aside. We'll put the rest of the arrows back in here. He holds that really tight, by the way. So we can go ahead and we can notch an arrow in here if we want. Put out the bow. Now this is one thing, I really think this should have been on the other side. But that's to get more of a clean look with the arrow. Because last I checked, when you have that notch for the arrow, it usually goes, it should be on the inside. But this is the part that holds, this actually holds an arrow notched in there. As you can see, the bow came out pretty easy. So yeah, that's one problem I had is this little guide thing for the arrow. I think it really should have been on the other side. But let's get this guy at some poses. Okay, so we got him into a pretty decent action pose here. Funny thing, I actually tried pulling the string back into his hand just for the effect, and it actually shot the arrow, which I thought was kind of amusing. I go back to what I'm saying. I go back to my first thing I said, where while the punching hands are nice, I really don't think they're needed, because 90% of the time you're going to be having him in a pose with the bow and arrow. So I really don't think that was needed. I would have really liked actually maybe some trick arrows, despite the fact that they weren't really used in the longbow hunters, or I don't know, something else. But yeah, he holds the pose really well. He looks relatively natural. I would have liked a little more flowing with the hood. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. As an action figure by himself, he's pretty cool. But, and this is where, let's talk about the issues with icons in general. Here is a Hydra Soldier, which is your basic Bucky Cat mold. Yeah, this guy is a lot bigger than this guy. Bigger head, bigger shoulders. They're really not in scale. I mean, it looks like I've got a forced perspective where they're actually standing next to each other. But, you know, it looks like one's closer than the other. So the icons themselves don't fit in with your other 6-inch scale figures. Or not 6-inch, yeah, 6-inch scale. I mean, here's a Praetorian Guard. Again, those two guys look pretty well together. Let's actually put him back here. Not that I'm ever going to mix my Star Wars and superhero collections up too much. But yeah, they just don't scale well. Batman was like that. Harley, I could get by with it because since she's a female, you know, it's a little petite. Which, pro to DC icons. Oh my gosh, Harley and Batgirl had double jointed elbows. I would kill for Hasbro to learn how to do that. So, I'm hoping with the new DC Essentials line that it will be closer to our normal 6-inch scale, but from what I've heard, they're actually going to be a little bigger than our Marvel Legends. Not quite NECA size, but not quite that sweet spot with on the 1/12 scale. They're probably looking closer to Storm Collectibles from what I've been reading. So, the way DC icons are going, a lot of people are blowing their collections out. If you can get some at cheap price, go for it. Probably after the DC Essentials line comes out, a lot of them will drop in price. Still, despite what's coming out, I said we got Deathstroke. We've got, I think Deathstroke is coming out in the Essentials as well. I really would have liked the Deadshot. But, long story short, I do give this guy a recommend as an individual figure. Again, I give him an A-. The whole line, 50-50 on. But I like him. And speaking of liking, if you like this review, please give me a thumbs up. Please give a subscribe. And remember, when it comes to collections, size is the prize. Shelves being full is the goal. And until next time, please take care.